Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Got a little something to say. I had to take a break. It's starting to heat up out here. If you haven't read the caption, I'm going to tell you what it says. I was having a conversation with one of my sons, in fact. One of my sons. And I love that boy. He don't want to let nobody down. He don't want to let nobody down. He'll do anything he can for anybody. And it bothers him if he lets somebody down. And I know it. But I'm going to tell you what I told him. I said, you can't be everything to everybody if you're not something to yourself. I'm going to say it again. Hey, Danielle. You cannot be everything to everybody if you're not something to yourself. I've been there. You know, you hear me on these lives and I'm always talking about, like, in fact, last night I was at the skating rink and I'm talking about, you gotta live, it's time to live. And that's all I keep talking about, living the best life and, you know, living my life. I want to live the life that God has given me. There's a reason for that. Because in a few days, I'll be 50 years old. And I'm just now starting to live. Just now starting to live. I'm starting to look back at things, and anybody that knows me know that I'm the type of man, if I'm wrong, I'll apologize. If you know, and I've been striving for years to be a better man. Not that I was a bad man, but I wanted to be a good man. That's really my motivation, is to be a good man. Everything about my life, everything about me, I really want to be a good man. When I leave this world, they can say what they want to say, but at the end of the day, they're going to have no other choice but to say that was a man. Whether they like me or not, whether they cared about me or not, I don't care. At the end of the day, that was a man. Not no fictitious cat, not a male, because there's a lot of men who don't know how to function like a man. You know, quite frankly, I'm still learning how to function like a man. We all assume because it's a male that he's a man. No. A lot of us didn't have the real male role models. We didn't have the male figures. We didn't think about it. I was talking with my cousin the other day. We're not biological cousins, but y'all know how I feel. You know, blood make you related, but loyalty and love make you family. Yeah, how you doing there, Nene? You know, it means something to be a man. But we watch the wrong men sometimes. I tell you about a guy that I used to watch when I was going to school. And two, in fact, but one of them was Mr. Jesse. Mr. Jesse used to get up and he have his coffee. He have his coffee and he's ready to go to work. And I used to see him. And that was his routine. He worked at the factory down the street. And I started seeing men like my Uncle Andy, and it was the men with the work boots that I looked at. I didn't go their route, but I ended up their route. Steady trying to figure out how to be a man. Out there on the block, trying to do this, that, and the other. Yeah, okay. You might be a man in your eyesight. It might be masculine, but sometimes we do some garbage. I've spent time making phone calls to people that's in my past, apologizing, like, you know what? I heard what you said, but I couldn't hear what you said. I heard what you said, but I couldn't hear what you said. Now, here, let me clarify that. When I say I heard what you said, I know I heard what you said, but the reason I know I didn't hear what you said is because I didn't react to it. Because now that I've grown up, now that I've gotten a little older, now that I've experienced a little bit more life, and then I'm sitting there thinking, I come up with a good idea, it click in my head and say, man, so-and-so told you that. And I have to call them and I say, you know what? I couldn't hear you at the time. I heard you. But I was so busy listening to myself and listening to my own thoughts, my own ideas, thinking that I knew what the deal was when I haven't even figured out what the game is. And it cost me. It cost me. And I sure hate to see some other young men go through some garbage like I had to go through, because we can't hear. You know, people are talking, but we're so sure, we're so right, you know, that we put ourselves in a prison. You know, we always want to talk about, you know, the prison system and people being locked up in the penitentiary. Let me tell you something. When you look at the situation and the circumstances and all the adversities that you go through with the penitentiary, that you go through with probation, that you go through with pre-release, you go through all that, check this out. You do it to yourself every day. Yep. Because just as soon as somebody check you about something or they don't respond to you, you either try to put them or yourself into isolation until you think you can have your way. Or you imprison yourself. And all you see is the neighborhood that you live in or the little world that you live in. All you seeing is what you want to see. And people can come by through your life and visit you and try to tell you something. How you doing, Zena? They can come by and try to tell you something, but you're so busy caught up in your world, you ain't hearing them. In fact, you really ain't even listening to them. You're only listening close enough for them to shut up so you can finish the statement that you were going to make or come up with a new statement that you were going to make. It's all about you until you can grow up. Some people say, man, well, I thought this was about church, but check this out. I done told you before, in the Bible, it says, when I was a child, I spake as a child. I thought as a child. I functioned as a child. But when I became a man, and I'm still working on becoming that man, you know, it says when you do those things, that which is in part, because it says we prophesy in part, but when that which is perfect has come, then the prophesying in part will be done away with. Let me tell you what prophesying is. Prophesying is running your mouth and you thinking you telling some news, but where are you getting the information from? And then when it says we prophesy in part, hey Gary, when you prophesy in part, that means you're only telling half the story. You don't even know the whole story. You're looking at somebody and you see their situation, but you don't know why they're there. People have seen me in positions and predicaments and say, that's a shame that Gene is doing such and such and such and such. But you know what? If you knew why I was where I was, you'd have said it was a shame that I even had to go through what I had to go through to make me make the decision that I made. So ain't necessarily prophesying about what somebody doing, because you don't know why they doing it. You know, no, it's time to grow up. It's time to pay attention. Time to examine yourself. You know, it's time for me to get back busy. I just wanted to pull your ear for a few minutes on a thought that I had. I meant to get to you earlier, but I needed to finish this last job. So I'm going to end this with what I said. And never forget it if you can. You can never be everything or anything to everybody if you're not something to yourself. Some of the decisions that we make is because we lack self-worth. We don't even know our own value. Or we underestimate ourselves. We devalue ourselves. We don't even know what's really going on. If you knew your true value, half the stuff you putting up with, you wouldn't even put up with. I made a new acquaintance. It ain't even been 72 hours. And I'm like, you know what? You got too much drama. I'm going to block you right now. You don't even call me. Don't even text me. I know you might say, well, you supposed to be a man of God. And I thought I could talk to you. Exactly. You have a good day, because you some garbage. Sometimes you got to just let people go on and be what they want to be, because you got to remember the devil says he come to kill, steal, and destroy. Kill, steal, and destroy. If the devil can't kill you, he'll steal your life away and he'll destroy your dreams. No. Check yourself out sometime. See how much value you have in you. See how you value. Don't sit there and just say, oh, I value me, really? This is how you check it. Look at your circle. Go look at your caller ID or your call log. And then look, here's a challenge. I just thought of this. And I ain't going to blame it on God. Here's a challenge. We'll give it an easy number. 10, the number 10. Because God told Lot if he could find 10 just men, that he would save the city. He would save, not Lot, he told Abraham. He said, I know you're worried about your nephew. That's fine. But Abraham, if you can find 10 just people, I won't destroy the city. Go look at your call log. Just look at it. I don't care if you ain't made but a few phone calls today. Look at the last 10 phone calls. Write those 10 phone calls down. Then I want you to figure out if you made the phone call or if they called you. Either way, look at the name and ask yourself, do they add to your life or do they take away from your life? The last 10 people on your call list, the last 10, ask yourself, do this person add to my life or do they take from my life? And then once you come up with that, then ask yourself this, why are they in my life? Why? And if you come up with that mess about, well, they do more good than bad, got a trick for that too. If you only had one drop of poison in a tall glass of water and you knew it was in there and it was freezing cold, would you still drink that water? I don't think so. Because I ain't trying to drink no poison. And that negative mess is poison, man. I don't know how long God gonna have me around on this earth, but I'm gonna live the years that he got for me, and I ain't gonna pollute it if I can help it with poison. So that's my thought. I know we like to have friends. We're in a situation now. We was all on computers. We was all in the house, and we didn't really go nowhere. Now we sure enough confined to our house, confined to our job, confined to our children, confined to the school, confined to just being away. You got to be 6 feet from people. Okay, that's fine. And that means you yearning for company. You yearning for somebody to either conversate with. That's if you are a social person like myself. That's if you're a social person. Some people are introverts. They could care less. What's up? They could care less. But some of us like to socialize. Some of us like to talk. Some of us like to get love and affection. Some of us like to have communication. But what kind of communication are we getting? Check them last 10 calls. Write them names down. And ask yourself, what does this person do for my life? Are they adding to my life or are they taking it? Because you cannot be everything or anything to everybody if you're not something to yourself. I got to get back on my grind. God bless you. Love all of you. Take care.